Hey, I'm going to walk you through the number one way to not just make more money in real estate based on the activities you're already doing, but make more profit for your real estate business. That's a huge deal, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what that looks like. And here's the great part, you don't have to do anything more than what you're already doing. It's a matter of getting the information and having the right strategy. So we're going to jump right into how to make more money and more profit with seller leads than ever before, all without having to implement anything brand new. So before we jump into the video, what I want to talk to you real quickly about is just making sure that you're supporting the channel. The reason why is because it's really important that we know we get feedback from people that are watching these videos that you got value out of it. So please leave a comment, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this video with anybody you might think can get some value from it. And also, if you're just getting value from it, you've already subscribed, you've already shared, drop a comment and let us know what you're thinking, what you're implementing, because that's always going to help us give you the best and most relevant information for growing your real estate business. All right, now let's jump right into the information. We're talking about how to make more money and also be more profitable with your real estate business. And it's all about sellers today. Now, there's plenty of other ways that we can dissect this, but one thing I want to talk to you about is first starting off with the fact that you will win more listings and get more opportunities when you understand that sellers want options. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to choose all the options, but they want to know that they have them. Human beings naturally want to know that they have options and that their unique circumstances are being taken into consideration whenever you're thinking about the strategy for selling a house. So the thing that's first going to help you get more business is not using a one-size-fits-all approach. Now, traditionally, most agents just list homes, right? Hey, you want to sell your house? Great. Here's the listing agreement. I can go ahead and list it, and we'll have this typical process. That's one option. But sellers want to know, well, what if I wanted to rent out my house? What if I wanted to Airbnb my house and not sell it at all? What if I want an all cash offer because I just want to get this thing off of my plate? I inherited the property. There's any number of things. What if I think I can get more value from the home if I were to renovate it first, but I'm short on cash? What if I'm really concerned about the purchase and being a buyer in today's market because inventory is so low? Well, those are things that you have to address by providing options. And most of the time, there are already third parties that can help you facilitate that. So let me just tackle one or two of these. Something like, hey, I think I could get more money if I renovated my house first, but I don't have the cash. Well, they can go through the process of doing a home equity line or something like that to be able to do that. That could take some time. It might not be the route they want to take. And you can also introduce other third parties. So there's companies like Curbio and Sold Ready and a few others, and even individual investors that will go ahead and say, all right, cool, let's go ahead and renovate the property and I'll get paid out of the proceeds from escrow. So that's an option you definitely want to have. If you don't already have a vendor partner, a third party partner like that, make sure you go find one. I'll drop some in the description below. In addition to that, maybe there's another party like Knock or Homelight that does a buy before you sell program where the person can actually sell to that company. They'll give them about 80 to 90% of the equity to go out and make their next purchase. And then after they've closed on their purchase, they then put their house on the market, right? That way they're not caught in that scenario where their house is sold, but they haven't found the right home for them. Well, that's a big issue. And so by having programs like that that you can lean on, those are really important. Now, here's where we're talking about more revenue and then more profit is when we really start talking about the cash offer space. If they want to sell a cash offer and they want to just see what that looks like, you can do a few things. The first one's going to be iBuyers, and those are really great. Those are and also local investors. Those are great things to do. What basically you're going to do is you're going to turn to a local investor. Maybe you have a local investment group or you know one personally, right? Where you can go and turn and say, hey, I would like a cash offer on this. And typically, not always, but typically that investor is going to have a structure with you. And oftentimes they'll say, okay, great, I'll pay you X percent to represent me as the buyer. And I'll also let you relist the home once it's renovated. And typically what I've found, at least in Southern California, where I'm at, and I've done most of this stuff, is they'll let you relist for like 1% because they're like, hey, listen, we could totally just list it ourselves or something like that. But we want you to do it professionally. You're the one who brought us the deal. So maybe we'll pay you 1 or 2% or whatever it is. There's no fixed fee, right? And so whatever it makes sense, maybe it's a flat fee up front and a flat fee on the back end to list it. Who knows? But typically will do something like that. That's pretty common. Now, the real interesting thing is when you show up to a house and you just have an offer and you don't really know how to run the numbers or anything like that, it can sometimes feel like you're jamming it in the last second and kind of complicating things. Whereas if you learn how to actually analyze deals from an investor perspective, you're going to have an edge because you'll be able to talk to them a little bit more, ask really critical questions so that you can go to an investor and say, hey, listen, here's the information that I know. They renovated it, the kitchen and this year and the bathroom in these years. And here's what I think the ARV, which is after repair value, it could be, right? You're more likely to get a really good offer from the investor. And then in addition to that, you won't be wasting your time either. Because a lot of times investors will, because they like you or because they want to do business with you in the future, they'll shoot out an offer and be kind of blind when they shoot that offer out. And then you bring it to the seller and the seller goes, wow, this is actually kind of better than I thought. Let's go with the investor deal. And then the investor shows up with their contractor and they go, oh, well, I didn't know this happened and this happened. And I thought it was a little bit more updated than this. And I didn't recognize that in the photos that you sent me. And so, you know what? We're going to need $80,000 off of our offer. That's going to put you in hot water with the seller. So the way you can avoid that is actually learning the terms and the way that investors underwrite deals, right? The way that they look at it, whether it's, hey, what percentage of ARV are you looking for? Knowing that language is really important because then you can come in, you can talk to the seller, get some basic information, run some preliminary numbers, and give the investors a lot more information so that they can make a better offer. Now, the pinnacle, the thing that I hope you stuck around this long in the video to learn is that there's also big money to be made if you know how to not just know the math behind what an investor is looking for and like things like after repair value, what the costs of repairs might be in that particular market, but it's also learning how to negotiate an all cash offer with a seller. Because if you can do that and you can actually write the contract and get them to accept an offer that you're writing, that's something called wholesaling, or you have the makings at least for something called wholesaling. If you're not familiar with that, I could do more videos on it, but I'd encourage you to learn a little bit more about wholesaling because here's the magic key. If you understand how to do that, you can make more profit than if you just represented the investor on the buy side and then listed it on the disposition, right? Because what you can do is you can go to a seller and go, hey, listen, I could list your home and this is what I think it's worth, and here's the fees that's going to include and the likely timeline. In addition to that, here's an offer that I'd like to make you because I would like to personally buy the house, or one of my investor partners. Now, depending on your state, it will vary on how much you have to disclose if you're planning on wholesaling. In California, you have to be super upfront with it. You have to let them know I will be probably assigning this contract or selling this contract, or any way you want to phrase that, to somebody else, and I will be making a profit almost as a middleman. There's actually even documents in California written up for this. So we have to be super above board. You can also do things like concurrent closing. This is not a full comprehensive training of wholesaling, but what I do want you to know is that if you are in the business of finding motivated sellers and talking to them on an ongoing basis and presenting them opportunity to list their home, well, you are going to do way better if you also have the skill set to figure out how to wholesale deals. So for example, you can go to a seller who is maybe thinking about selling for 700,000, right? And you're able to talk to them and go, hey, listen, we can list it. This is the price I think we can get. Here's the fees that are going to be included. Here's the timeline. Now, if you would like a quick close, maybe they inherited a property, maybe they're getting a divorce, maybe something's happening where they just want to get rid of the property. They will take a discount on the property for the convenience of something like a quick close that's all cash, no questions asked, no fees, pick your closing date, you move out whenever you want, right? There's a bunch of little things that you can do to make it really exciting for them to accept a cash offer, even though it might be below what you can list for. And as long as they're fully aware of everything that's going on, then I think it's fully ethical and you can do this. and feel good about it. I know you can legally do it, but feeling good about it is really important, right? So what you can do then is, let's say it's 700,000, but after everything's said and done, they're okay with taking 660, right? And you know that if the because you've done your homework, you've trained a little bit, maybe you even use some tools for this, but you know that if the house is fully renovated, you can sell it for 850, right? So they're willing to take 660 to get rid of the headache and have all the convenience, and they're fully aware of what's happening, and you go ahead and lock it up for 660. Well, you can turn around, and if you know that your investor is typically looking for, I don't know, $120,000 spread, well, then you can go to them and go, hey, listen, I have this house under contract at 660. Right now, you can flip it and turn it and sell it for 700. Okay. Now, if you renovated it, and here's some of the analysis that I did, you could probably sell this thing for 850, right? And you know they're looking typically for $120,000 spread or something like that. Well, great. You can probably just go to them and go, well, I don't know, would you take it for 700? Right? Would you like the rights to buy this house? Because when you lock it up and you have it under contract, and as long as your seller is aware of this, then you can assign that contract to them and say, hey, listen, I have the right to purchase it at 660. They're going to purchase it for 700 and pay me the 40,000. Now that's not actually how the contract works or how the closing works, but for concept in the video, that's really what's happening. And you can make that $40,000 spread. And why would you do that? Why would an investor do that? Well, they don't really care how the deal comes as long as it pencils out. So they don't care that you're making profit, right? As long as it pencils out for them. And so if they're looking for that $120,000 spread and you're giving it to them for 150, and that also includes your profit, wow, that's an amazing win for everybody. And you just made yourself $40,000 without the expense of marketing a property and going through the whole entire listing process and all that other stuff, paying a broker, right? All those things you can do. And so when you really start focusing on, hey, I am just meeting with sellers, I'm meeting with homeowners that are interested in selling, and I'm going to be providing all kinds of options, you should eventually land in a place where you go, you know what, wholesaling should be part of that. Instead of just bringing someone else's cash offer, why don't I learn the process of delivering a cash offer that makes sense, that's well researched, so that I can then wholesale it to the end investor that's going to flip and make a quick profit. And so the revenue is increased, but also the margin on wholesaling is much bigger than the margin on listing homes for all the things that I just said a second ago. So this is a way to maximize what you're already doing, which is trying to find motivated sellers, but also providing them with more options so that you become the obvious choice. And in some events and in some occasions, you'll be able to do a wholesale deal, and it's way more profitable than listing a lot of the times. So hopefully you got a ton of value out of that. If you have any questions about this, I can put out more videos specifically on wholesaling, because that's actually how I started my real estate career. I have a lot of friends that still do it, and actually we do it from time to time, rarely, but it's definitely something in our repertoire whenever we're meeting with sellers. So it's a vital thing. It's a skill set that you should have, and when it makes sense, it makes a lot of dollars. Hopefully you found value in that. If you do have questions, drop a comment below. Happy to share with you any more. And if you ever want a topic covered here on Real Estate CEOs, drop a comment. We're happy to do that. If it's something that we're good at, and if it's something I'm not good at, I've never done, I'll bring in an expert so that they can help share that information. I trust you found a ton of value in that. Until next time, happy selling.